Blog Talk Radio.
Aloha, everybody. This is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'm back on the radio after a really long hiatus. I just thought that I would check in with you guys. I get a lot of comments asking me when I'm going to do my radio show again, etc. And I, as many of you know who follow me, I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a lot of things going on in the mix. But there was one show that had been really kind of driving at me or nagging at me that I wanted to get out to you guys with the new year coming around, which is breaking old energetic habits and patterns, which I'm going to get to in a minute because I also want to talk to you guys about some new things that I'm creating and new things that are coming up that I think you guys are going to be super excited about. I'm super excited about it because I think that it's going to benefit everybody because I feel like I can't be everywhere at one time. And just so any of you know, if you call in the show, I may or may not be taking calls because this is more about giving you guys some information. And so I want to make sure that I get through all the breaking old energetic habits and patterns information with the new year. So I'm not sure if I'll be taking calls. If you're on the line and I have time, then I will do so at the end of the show, just so that you all know about that. So, again, super excited to be back. I did want to tell you about some new things that I'm doing. I have something in the works that I'm not really divulging. I'm not really telling anybody, so it will remain a secret. But there's something, it's going to be really cool. It's going to have to do with metaphysical and spiritual learning. And it's something that I've been kind of thinking about for about 10 years. It's really important if you're interested in kind of knowing what this up-and-coming thing is, which I'm sure I'll do another show on as we sort of bring it to light, but it's not all together quite yet. If you want to be on the email list, if you want to learn about this, and it's going to be kind of a community of sorts, if you want to be involved in learning, if you're interested in raising your vibration, anything spiritual and metaphysical, if you're constantly looking for knowledge or something to feed your spirit and your soul, trying to, just raise that vibration and understand your spiritual side and your soul part of yourself as much as you can to really get in touch with that and learn and develop and grow, you're going to want to get on this email. Like, I'm not kidding. This is going to be a very cool thing. And so I'm going to tell you how to do that in case that you're newly listening to me or in case you always listen to me and you're not sure. You want to make sure that you go over to keystothespiritworld.com. Is a website that I have. It's one of my many websites. You could go to Hawaii Healings, I guess, too. It's also on there. Anyways, if you go over to keystothespiritworld.com, there is a section on the right-hand side that says Download Energy Vampires Instantly for free. That is going to be where you're going to be able to actually, if you click on that, it's going to bring up a thing asking, you'll actually get energy vampires for free to do this, so it's not like you're just going over there for nothing. If you already have energy vampires, who cares? Just take it, give it to somebody you know. You're going to get it in your inbox. Anyways, if you go in there and sign in to the there'll be like a pop-up saying that, let you sign in and then you'll get energy vampires. If you sign into there, you'll be on the email list and you won't miss any of this really cool up-and-coming community stuff that I'm going to be doing, especially if you're in like the soulmate circle or something. You're definitely going to want to get involved in this. If you have any questions or you can't figure out how to get on the email list, but you still want on the email list, you can email us at jennifer@keystothespiritworld.com. Again, this is going to be something that there's going to be giveaways, there's going to be all kinds of stuff coming up with this, but it'll be something that'll start coming to your inbox, your email inbox, and there's going to be a lot of spiritual development, high vibration, really cool soul-searching type things going on. It's going to be a really neat community and a vibe. So don't forget to sign up to the email list. It's really important. That being said, glad to be back, everyone. And here's what's been going on. Here's why I decided to do this new show. So it's the new year, 2016. Hopefully everybody's made resolutions or not. I guess it doesn't really matter. But hopefully that you've decided to, what's cool, I think, about the new year is I feel like it's a very good starting point for everybody to make a change in their life. It's like, I feel like everybody feels like they have a whiteboard and they just erase all the crap on there and then they start all over again. It gives them permission to have a starting place for new developments in their life. And I think that that's what's really cool about the new year. So a lot of people I know have made New Year's resolutions, or they like to make some type of New Year's resolution, whether it be in their head or they write it down. But then something happens where people go on and they get into February and March and things aren't going quite like they planned, and then they start feeling really frustrated. They start getting let down and their resolutions fall by the wayside, and the same patterns start emerging. And then you're like, oh, my life is going to be the same, whatever, might as well just fall back into those habits and keep doing what I was doing. This is what I notice a lot of people doing. And a lot of friends, family, people that are close to me. And then it's weird because it's almost like after, February, March, April, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to give up completely and just go back completely to your old habits. And then you wait till the New Year's in the next year. And I find that very disheartening because a lot of people are really smart. They're smart enough. A lot of people have enough willpower to want to do it. And many times, most people are actually really committed. They're committed enough to follow through with this. But they still find that they end up failing it somehow. And why is that? Why does that happen? Well, one of the things that I noticed as a reader on the outside looking in is they kind of go about it the wrong way. They go about it from a physical aspect. And as you guys know, I talk about this all the time. We're not just physical beings, we're energetic beings. And so I noticed that they change some physical aspects or physical actions in their life, and then they expect really huge results. The problem with that is you have to do both. Actually, it's almost more important to do the energetic aspects. But I also, when I was observing everybody around me over the last couple of years and recently, I realized they don't really know about changing their energetic patterns. They don't really know about changing energetic habits that are bad or patterns that they bring into their life, which actually more strongly dictates your life path, your surroundings, what's happening in your life. So the energetic portion is actually more important because that dictates the physical portion. But what people do is they do it backwards, and they try to change the physical, then the energetic. There is a way you can do that as long as you're aware of both. I'm on board with doing both at the same time, not just necessarily one or the other, not just, sitting in your room and meditating or visualizing and then hoping all the physical changes. No, it's a combination because we are physical beings and we are spiritual beings. So you have to maintain both of those parts of who you are. Again, this is something that I talk to people about all the time because they view themselves, funny enough, they view themselves as usually one or the other, which I find really interesting. People who are not as knowledgeable in the spiritual, energetic realm, they view themselves because they've always been taught about being these physical beings. You're taught about it in school. You're taught about, how you're this mass of stuff and in science class and whatever, and you're created. And then, oddly enough, I've been in the metaphysical industry for a super long time, although I don't feel that old, but it really seems like a long time. So over 20 years, and I've met a lot of readers and healers and astrologers and all kinds of people. And a lot of those people view themselves as mostly spiritual, and they forget the physical aspect. And that's not any better, everyone. If you're one of those people, if you're a healer, if you're into the metaphysical spiritual realm at all, and you are going primarily, you're a spiritual person and everything has to be done on a spiritual level, an energetic level, and you're neglecting your physical side, that is absolutely 100% not any better. You can make yourself just as sick as you can if you're doing the physical and ignoring the spiritual. We are a package deal. We have to be treated both ways. It's like the physical is the wrapping and the spiritual is the package, or it's the inside stuff. It's the goodies, and the physical is the wrapping, but you have to maintain both. And so I'm going to go over some tips for you guys of how to old energetic habits and patterns, okay? So one of the and mistakes that people do and how to recognize it and do whatever. So you make your resolutions, you do all that good stuff. I'm assuming most of it's going to be pertaining to a lot of people do it with weight. They do it with just changing their life, like day-to-day stuff, how, I don't know, more travel, getting things cleaned up around their house, giving things away, whatever. But we're going to go into the energetic, because regardless of what your goals are that you've written on paper, these are going to be super important. So how do you shed old energetic patterns and habits? Number one is you really need to address the people who you surround yourself with. People. That's number one. It's very, very important. People are, why they're so important is, imagine, just kind of view it like you're in an infrared thing for a minute, like an infrared camera or whatever. You know how the people all turn red and whatnot? People are huge, huge manifestors and constant creators of energy. They are an energy beacon, if you will. That's why if you're an empath or sensitive or medium, it's really hard to go into Walmart or different places like that, because they are an energetic beacon. That's who we are. From the soul out, we just project energy in this really forceful, huge manner. And it's way beyond our body. So it goes out, imagine that it emits from you like 5 feet or more, depending on how strong of a projector you are. But we also leave that energy with us when we go places. So that's why Walmart and those different places are hard to be into. So when you're shedding the old habits and patterns energetically, if you're around the same people who maybe are affecting your life in a negative manner, that is a huge no-no. That is something that is very important, because people are such powerful energetic beacons, begin to address you negatively or be kind of down on what you're doing, whether it be weight loss or I want to try a new career, and they're like scared for you, and they're like, no, you can't do that. What do you mean? You have health insurance, stuff like that. Their negativity and all of that they're projecting from their energetic being is really, really powerful. If you don't like your job, but you're going to find a new job, if you fall into another job with the same type of people, see, that's the thing. Like, that's a very good example. If your New Year's resolution is to find a new job, you have to think beyond that. It's not necessarily getting out of where you are. There's more to that, which I'll get into in a minute, because that kind of is a little bit down the little section here. So be very aware of the people who are in your life who create a pattern. Who are the people? Who are you around the most? What type of energy are they projecting? Is it positive or negative reflection on your life? Really do a check on that, because if you're going to make some habits and changes in this new year, if you're around people causing negativity towards you, sometimes you can't get rid of them. I mean, sometimes they're, family members, whatnot, but you can monitor your time with them and how much that they're in your life. You really, really can. If you're in a relationship with them, that's a whole nother thing, and you're going to want to rethink that anyways, because then you have a whole bunch of other issues. So people is really an important thing to be paying attention to when you're doing all of this. And I actually have an anthology before I move on to number 2. You can't change your weight if you exercise and keep buying the same food. That's the kind of thing that I was talking about with people and environment and different things that I'm going to get into is the reason I use weight is because it's a common New Year's resolution, and people do get really frustrated with losing weight. But so they'll go exercise, they'll go run, they'll go do all these things. But if you're buying the same food over and over again, shopping at the same market, your patterns stay the same. So again, I'm trying to get you to notice these other patterns that you're doing in your life, and people don't realize that they're energetic patterns. They're not just physical patterns. Okay, so the second thing is your environment. Super, super, super important. Understand, or here's how I want you to also view your environment. Your environment it's an energy circle. Your home, your environment in your car, your environment at your office, it's an energy circle. And so, and just even your environment around your body, like clothes that you're wearing or things like that, your environment is your energy circle. And it's really interesting because when I do readings, or like, again, if I go to people's houses or go to different places, what I tell people all the time, which I find very true and very interesting, is the way that your energy and who you are and where you're at on a spiritual level is reflected in your personal environment. So if your bedroom is a complete and utter mess, if your car is a complete and utter mess, it's the same as your physical body. Your physical body reflects what's going on a spiritual level. It doesn't matter. There's no excuses here. And I know that people are going to want to say, well, maybe my thyroid's off, or this is off, or that's off. All of those things are off because of what's going on a spiritual level. If you don't have spiritual balance, if you're not taking care of yourself on a spiritual and a soul level, what happens? You guys know this, I'm sure you've listened to me over and over again. It manifests on a physical health level. It manifests on physical body level, weight, hormone imbalance, issues with thyroids. Heart things, colds, you name it. It manifests on a physical level. If you're not feeling well on a physical level, that's, again, an energetic habit and pattern. It's not going to the doctor and seeing what's wrong with you physically. Well, it is. Don't get me wrong. You absolutely want to go to the doctor and see what's wrong with you physically. But while the doctor is addressing symptoms, you want to go, okay, wait a minute. What's wrong with me and on an internal level spiritually? How happy am I? Am I fulfilling myself? What am I doing that I do not love to do? Who am I surrounded by? What situations am I in that is making me very tense and stressed out on the inside? When I get colds, and I can get heart palpitations, actually. I don't know if I've talked about that before. But when I get heart palpitations, when I get colds, when I get anything like that, I know immediately my spiritual compass is off. I did something, or I'm repeating a pattern over and over again on a spiritual level that is making me feel crappy. So that means, what am I doing that I don't like doing? What am I forcing myself to do over and over that isn't bringing me any happiness? What type of stress am I under, and why? Because usually when you're under stress, again, it all comes down to your thought pattern and your thought process, because people stress out about things that they cannot change, and they also stress about things that really aren't that big deal on a grand scheme of things, but for some reason we make all those things a big deal. So your environment is your energy circle. I'm going to use something even more simple. I'm going to use the weight loss thing because, again, that's really common. So if you're wanting to lose weight, you need to address all things. For instance, don't just, you want to address your wardrobe, your hair. You don't just go exercise and wear the same clothes over and over again. You don't go exercise and keep the same hairstyle and just be like, I don't want to splurge on that. Yes, you do want to splurge on that. You want to know why? Because it changes your energetic circle. It changes things. You're going to find this funny, but hair on your head holds a lot of energy. when you go get a haircut, get colored, whatever, you clip a lot of that energy off. It really holds it. Like when you shower, you can shower a lot of energy off your actual physical skin from being in different places. Hair holds energy as well. Clothes hold old energy. And I wish you could see what I see, because if you have that same pair of jeans you've had for 10 years or 5 years or whatever, same shirts, whatever, they hold that old energy of who you were and who you were every time you put those clothes on. Even though that you wash them, it holds the same energy. And so if you try to go change who you are with weight gain or how you're feeling about yourself, but you don't spend the money, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Geez, go to Kmart, go to Target, go to the thrift store. I don't care. Although I can't go to the thrift store because there's way too much weird energy there, but you guys might like to. It's kind of trendy, I think. But anyways, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but again, it's breaking those old energetic patterns and habits. That's really, really important. And so, Sam, they all hold energy. Get the energy out of your hair. Redo it into a certain style, a certain cut, color, whatever. Get rid of the old energy of your clothes. Even if let's say that you want to lose 15 pounds and it's going to take you 2 months or something. I mean, once you're 5 or 10 pounds in, things aren't fitting, get a pair of interim pants or two or something. Get something new and start getting rid of that old crap, the old energy of your clothes. So don't half-ass it. Sorry, you guys know I'm kind of abrupt. But you don't want to do that. You want to move forward into a new pattern. And I am explaining to you, it's not pampering yourself. It's literally moving out old energy, bringing in new energy. So that brings us to number 3. Awareness is really, really key to releasing old energetic patterns and habits. You need to be aware of the pattern and habit, and that's pretty much like anything, but you have to really start looking at your life differently and what patterns and habits that you have going on. Awareness will change a lot, but with awareness would come the universal laws and understanding of redefining your thinking. And so that's it. Actually, I'm certain probably that all of you have gotten my Universal Laws book on Amazon. If you haven't, you can go type in Jennifer O'Neill. All my books will come up. And the Universal Laws book is my favorite book I've ever written. It helps a lot of people. I get ridiculous amounts of emails on it. If you're not understanding, if you don't have an understand about universal laws and you're new to the show, new to me, whatever, and you're like, I don't know what she's talking about, it's an incredible book that breaks it down very simple, and that will help you redefine your thinking, because the world does not work the way you think it does or you've been taught to think it does from grade school on up, which is a bummer, because I really wish that they would teach more kids how much energy is in the world. And you know what really gets me is because it's scientifically proven. They do teach it to you in science class on some level, but they don't really understand it enough to actually really teach you that the whole physical world is also an energetic world. They know that there's plants have energy and emit energy and all this stuff. They know it. They teach it to you, but it's very strange that they teach it to you, but they don't. It's anyways, that's a whole nother show. So in order to have awareness and universal understanding, what do you do with that? Basically, you want to constantly be aware and retrain your thought process which is also actually going to come down to another tip here. You want to realize that the world doesn't work the way that you think it does or has as a child, and you want to just become aware that there's more to New Year's resolutions. There's more to changing your life, more to changing your habits than just doing something on a physical manner, like physically switching jobs, physically going to the gym, physically, you know what I'm saying? There's more to it, and once you're aware that it has to be a package deal and that you need to change some other things in your life in order for it to have success, once you do the package deal, you will be blown away at how fast that this will change your life. Once you're aware about the energy and energetic patterns and the energy in your house and the energy that flows around people and the environment, the energy circles, the energy of people, you're gonna start probably thinking differently. So that's really important, and pay attention with the awareness. I want you to pay attention to your thoughts on a daily basis. Be aware of the people. Be aware of all that stuff. Be more aware of energy patterns, energy circles, energy things. Don't mean you have to go do some crazy weird energy circle dance or anything. Just like be aware. Okay, so visualize correctly is number 4. People know about visualizing, and they know about meditation and that sort of thing. And just FYI, I have like 4 minutes on the show, and so what's going to happen is it's probably going to say it's going to cut me off, but I'll continue going. If you're listening to this in the archives and not live, then you'll be able to continue hearing. I'm going to try to get to the end soon. If you're listening live, you may have to go to the archives to hear the rest. Visualizing correctly. So when you do your visualizing, that's supposed to be your fun time. That's not supposed to be, I'm very stressed out about this. I'm very stressed out about my weight. I'm stressed out about the situation, money, whatever. And so I want this to resolve it, and be very specific. And no, it doesn't work like that, because what's happening is you're visualizing from the past. It's very strange, the past to the present. You're visualizing from the past to the present, past to the present. Never visualize from the past to the present. You visualize the future. That's what's visualizing correctly. What the heck does that mean? It means that pretend like your life is something other than it is. I know that sounds really weird, but it works like you would not believe. Pretend like you're already in the future and you live the life that you're living, and feel how good that feels. Pretend like that money problem's resolved, done, over with. Pretend it's, ahead. You're ahead 6 months. You're ahead 2 weeks. You're ahead tomorrow, whatever. Whatever's stressing you out, whatever you're trying to change in your life, pretend it's already changed. That's how you visualize correctly. It's already changed, and you're in that moment. You're in that moment where it's changed. You feel better. Things are resolved. You're not stressed out. You feel healthier. You have money to pay whatever bill you need to. It's been paid. Like ahead. Visualize ahead. I cannot stress that enough. Not past to present. Visualize ahead. Because in present you're already in the problem, which is caused from the past. If you keep visualizing the present, it's just repeating the same energetic pattern over and over again. It's repeating the same energetic thought pattern. You can't figure out how to fix it. You can't figure out a way out of it, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to figure out all the details. You can't. There's too many universal laws flying around all at one time, too many correlations that have to happen to resolve a situation that you cannot possibly be able to control. So there has to be that level of trust there. So you visualize in the future. You imagine it's ahead of the game, ahead of everywhere you're at. Everything's resolved, everything's taken care of, and be there, be in that place. Feel it, enjoy it, feel that relaxation, because everything's good. Everything's handled. Everything's paid. Be in that place. That's when you're visualizing correctly. This brings us to the last one, which is similar to the awareness thing, but you really, really, for a New Year's resolution, I want people to work on reprogramming their thinking. I want you to shed your old thought patterns and beliefs, because even if you have been on a spiritual path for a long time, I tend to notice that people, even such as myself, I think I've even heard Abraham Hicks talk about it, and different people, like anybody in the industry, we are physical beings, so this will happen. Sometimes you will just fall back into that old thought process, and that's when things start kind of jamming up and jacking up, and things aren't flowing really nicely. And so the first thing that you want to do is remember to reprogram your thinking. You have to remember to view the world. It's a constant reminder until it becomes a habit. It's constantly reminding yourself that the world doesn't work the way that you thought it did. It's constantly remembering. If you remembered it at the beginning of last year, you probably forgot it at the end of last year. So you want to start reminding yourself over and over again, reprogramming your thinking. That should actually be everybody's New Year's resolution for sure. Also, when you're reprogramming your thinking, some of the things that you would want to do to help you do that is to listen to biographies, read biographies, talk to people who you know who have a life like you want to have, who have that change, or who accomplish what it is that you'd like to accomplish in your life differently than what you're doing now. Pick their brain, listen to them talk, because you will notice that the people who are the most successful people in the world, who you view have really successful things going on in their life, I purposely listen to biographies and different biographies, read different books, etc., like that, just so I can hear the wording of what they're talking about, because you will hear so many people talk about universal laws. It's almost like a code that unless you're very well educated on universal laws and that becomes your own thought pattern, you would never notice if you were a normal person just listening to them, which I find interesting. But if you are very aware of universal laws, there's keywords that they use all the time, about their visualizing and about how they viewed something and everything's possible, and they have a whole different intake on the world and how it operates, and that's how these people become very successful. That's how they grow into these, and I just don't mean successful with money. I just mean successful with who that they are. It might be honing in a skill. It might be successful in, raising their family. It can be successful in, who knows, any kinds of things. I've listened, Will Smith is one that talks a lot about that stuff, and he talks about it openly, and then he talks about it kind of not openly. MMA fighters, that's a huge one. Conor McGregor, it's shocking how much that he talks about basically universal laws. And I've heard lots of radio shows or different interviews with him where he talks a lot about universal laws and visualizing. Richard Branson, there's the normal people, there's the Mark Cuban, there's so many successful people in life, or who people view as successful, and because they've basically, what I mean by successful is they've accomplished their own personal goals. That's what I mean by successful. Again, this does not apply to money, because when you're working with universal laws, when you're getting into this type of reprogramming your thinking, you will again realize none of it hinges on money. It hinges on being successful and feeling happy, and the after effect is money. So with a lot of those people, they've already accomplished their passion in life. They are moving towards their passion. Money just happened to follow. Then people all of a sudden take notice, because that's what money drives people who are very grounded in the physical aspect of life. Passion drives people who are very much grounded in the spiritual aspect of life. And when you do the two together, it's like a crazy successful picture to people from the outside. That's when you drive yourself based on passion and happiness, money follows all day long, if that's what you want. I've seen it over and over again with my own eyes. I've practiced it. It's true. It's almost shocking how easy it is when you kind of really get that, when it clicks, when you stop following the money. And I know it's hard to do when you are trying to pay the electric bill, but if you're already trying to pay the electric bill, things can't probably get much worse. So you can still reprogram your thinking while you're in your current situation and still be trying something on the side regarding passion and reprogramming your thoughts. Anyways, that is all that I have today. So you want to remember that thought patterns and beliefs heavily define your energetic patterns. So you can't keep the same ones. You cannot keep the same thought patterns and beliefs. You cannot. that you had last year. Just cannot happen. When you make a New Year's resolution, they have to go. They have to go like your pants and, all the junk in your closet that you're getting rid of, etc. That being said, thank you for joining in. I will try to do another radio show. I'm going to try to be more consistent. I think I always say that. So how you're going to be able to find me is a couple of different ways. Again, you can find me on Facebook. You can actually go to one of my websites, hawaiihealings.com or keysofspiritworld.com. Make sure you click on the Soulmate Circle. If you go into that, that's where I do a lot of these up-and-coming things. You want to make sure to click on that little get your energy vampires thing, because once you get that, you're going to be on my email list for this really cool up-and-coming stuff if you're interested in, raising your vibration. Super important. Don't forget to get on my email list. Don't forget. So if you have any questions, you can go to the Jennifer at keysofspiritworld.com on how to do that if you need to. So until next time, good luck and have an amazing day. Aloha.
Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.